I don't know if you guys heard the news yet or not, but there has been some recent developments in the whole Fannie Willis Nathan Wade situation, right? In fact, this is what happened. As you can see from the article title, it says Nathan Wade testifies Fannie Willis jump-started Trump investigation before she took office. Ooh-wee. And guess what? They are not talking about this in the mainstream. So apparently, look, I told you the temperature is changing. You got all kinds of people lining up because I guess they feel like, oh, snap, Trump about to be president. You feel me? He about to be president, so let's tighten up. Nathan Wade told Congress during a closed-door deposition that Fulton County District Attorney Fannie Willis began preparing to prosecute former President Donald Trump before she took office in January of 2021, according to a transcript released Monday. According to the transcript, Wade said Willis began outreach for a Trump-related search committee sometime after the 2020 election, but prior to her taking office. Willis took office on January 1st, 2021, after winning her district attorney race the previous August. Wade remarked that Willis absolutely reached out to him before the day she took office to mobilize him and others to prosecute Trump for allegedly attempting to overturn the 2020 election, a sign that Trump was a top target and priority for her. Ooh, that sounds like Letitia James, don't it? He also testified that when the committee began its work, the members of it turned their guns on him and urged him to accept a role as lead prosecutor in the Trump case. So January 1st, I was a part of the search committee for the newly elected district attorney, and we were tasked with trying to identify someone who would serve as lead counsel on the election interference investigation, Wade said. According to the transcript, eventually, I guess the committee turned their guns on me and started trying to convince me to accept the role. Wade resigned from the Trump case this year after the former president and several of his co-defendants uncovered an undisclosed romantic relationship between Wade and Willis. The defendants alleged that the pair's relationship presented a conflict of interest, and a judge partially agreed, leading Wade to resign and Trump to elevate his argument to the Georgia Court of Appeals in hopes of getting Willis removed from the case. Trump's appeal remains pending. Wade and Willis were forced to answer for their relationship earlier this year as part of the inquiry into their alleged conflict of interest. Both said their romantic relationship began in early 2022 through evidence introduced during the inquiry suggested they had a close personal relationship prior to that. The plot thickens. Oh my Lord. So basically, you got two Trump cases, because I don't know if you guys know or not, but Letitia James pretty much said the same thing when she was running for office. She pretty much said that she was going to do everything in her power to get Donald Trump. So when people say a witch hunt, let's be real. When people say a witch hunt, that's not a stretch of the imagination. When you're literally going into office with the intentions of prosecuting a specific person. You feel me? So, you know, in my humble opinion, not only should Trump win that appeal, not only should she be, tossed off of, well, she shouldn't even be tossed off of the case. The case should be thrown out or whatever. And they should start looking at they should start looking at disbarring them. If you really want to be honest. If you really want to be honest, because that type of behavior shows a level of corruption, in my opinion. Does anybody else disagree? Does anybody else disagree? Does anybody else disagree? I guess not. So, I just wanted you guys to know about that, which brings us to the main topic. But before we get into the main topic, yo, we need some more support. We need 10 people to hit the Cash App and support the show. We need 10 people to hit the Cash App and support the show. Matter of fact, press a 1 in the chat room if you're going to be one of the supporters. Yo, shout out to Bootzilla. He says supporting the shoe. So, I got a question for you guys. How many of you know who Kimba Smith is? How many of you guys know who Kimba Smith is? Press a 1 in the chat if you know who Kimba Smith is. Shout out to Student of Paradise for the membership. Student of Paradise said, love this channel, bro. Speak the truth. Shout out to Detroit 313. He said, shoe program, Negro. Support the show. So, and shout out to King TRDOD. He said, for the young God, appreciate you, fam. Shout out to Jerome. He said, keep bringing the truth, bruh. Appreciate you. So last night, as I was chilling, right? Chilling, my wife was scrolling through some of the streaming services. And, you know, my wife and I, we try to find good shows to watch, good movies to watch whenever we chilling together. By the way, I watched the show with Damon Wayans and his son, the first episode, which seems like it's going to be a pretty good show. It seems pretty funny. But last night, we were watching, she was scrolling through, and she came across this movie on BET called Kimba, right? Now, I hadn't heard the story. I didn't know anything about it, right? So, to give you a quick synopsis of what the story is about, it's about a young lady named Kimba Smith who grew up in a suburban neighborhood with two black parents, both educated. Her father was the CFO of a company. Her mother was a school teacher, so she came from a really good family, right? In fact, they would represent the 30% of what we were talking about in that other conversation, right? So she comes from a well-to-do black family, college-educated parents that were very strict on her, right? In fact, she said as much. She said that boys didn't really try to come to her house or try to talk to her because her father was super strict. Her parents were really they sheltered her a lot, right? So she ended up going to Hampton University in VA, right? And you could tell that she was really sheltered, and she said she was so happy to go to college because now she could finally break free and experience life not under her parents, not being sheltered or whatever, right? So she was at this party with a friend, and this guy, tried to talk to her or whatever, right? This dude tried to talk to her. So he's trying to spit game, and he's saying all of the right things, and just being charming and all of that. Now you could tell this dude was probably a New Yorker, right? You could tell by his accent or whatever. In fact, the actor that played him is the same dude that played Ghostface Killer in the Wu-Tang and American Saga story, right? So the dude's name was Peter Hall, but he was going by some other name. He was going by Khalif or something like that. I can't really remember specifically, right? But he just kept talking to her. Now, when she was at the party and he tried to talk to her, she was real shy, so she left or whatever, right? But he just kept talking to her, kept trying to, talk to her, whatever. So eventually they get into this relationship, right? They get into this relationship. She's staying at his house. They're boyfriend and girlfriend. And it's kind of hard to tell the timeline because I wasn't really paying that much attention to it, but apparently they was talking for a while, right? So in the movie, one day she comes downstairs and she sees her boyfriend sitting at the table with another dude and a woman, and they got bricks on the table and they count money. So at that moment, apparently her boyfriend was a drug dealer. Now keep in mind, this is in the early 90s, right? This is in the early 90s. So, he goes to her and he's like, yo, go back upstairs or whatever. So she goes back upstairs. Now you could tell in that moment she knew she should have got out of the situation, but she didn't. She stayed, kept talking to him or whatever, right? Now, while she was talking to him, she never really sold any drugs, never really engaged in any of that. The most she did was he would give her some money to take on a plane to go give to his man or whatever, right? So she was complicit in that aspect of it, right? So time goes by and, she's not really going to see her parents or whatever. And her father comes to see her and, because he's worried about it. He says that bounty hunters had came to their house looking for her boyfriend. And so the boyfriend obviously is on the run. I guess the feds got wind of what he was doing. And so he decides to go to Atlanta. And she wants to go with him, but at first she doesn't, right? He tells her to stay there, stay with your parents, blah, 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 whatever, right? So she stays there, And the police come to her parents' house and ransack the house looking for drugs or whatever, right? And still, she ends up going to Atlanta, because she's on the phone with him back and forth, and he tells her that she's all he got and all of this, whatever, right? So she takes her goofy behind to Atlanta to be with him, right? She gets down there and they traveling from place to place. They moving place to place on the run, right? Whatever, right? So eventually she ends up getting pregnant. But she's tired of the situation. She's ready to go home. She ends up going home, and as soon as she goes home, feds get her, lock her up, right? They got her in jail, right? They still looking for him. He's still on the run. So they tell her that if she just makes a plea deal, she won't get nothing but maybe 6 months, right? Her lawyer is friends with the prosecutor, and they're telling her that, if you just do the plea deal, you'll only get 6 months, right? You may not have sold any drugs, but you were part of it because you did do certain stuff. You moved, you transported money, blah, 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 whatever, right? So they give her the paperwork. She gets ready to sign the paperwork, and she looks and she notices where it says selling, amount of drugs sold, it's blank. And she's like, why is this blank? And it's like, oh, they'll fill that in later. First mistake, right? She signs it anyway. Her parents are there. They're telling her to sign it so she can just get the 6 months, get it out of the way, and get it over with, right? So she doesn't fight the case. She, signs the paperwork. Right after she signs the paperwork, the freaking feds found the boyfriend, but I guess got into a shootout and he ended up, dying, right? So now he's gone, right? So now it's just her or left up to her, right? So her lawyer is looking at the paperwork and they done filled in how much drugs was sold. So apparently they took all of the drugs that he sold out of his entire career as a drug dealer and put it down, and it was like 250 some kilos. So when it comes time for her to go to court, she's pregnant. Visibly pregnant, like showing like pregnant, like almost ready to pop pregnant, right? So she goes to court and the judge says, I don't think you're a bad person. I think you just made a mistake getting with the wrong guy. But my hands are tied. I can't really do anything. I have to give you this sentence, right? He gives her a sentence of 280 some months, which really boiled down to about 24 and a half years. So she's taking the weight of this, right? And, her parents, they damn near passing out in the courtroom or whatever. And it's like, oh my God, this is messed up. Now, can anyone guess why in 1994, and I think she went to court in the state of Virginia, can anyone guess why she was given 24 and a half years? Can anyone guess why the judge said his hands were tied? Because of the 1994 crime bill. Because of the 1994 crime bill. Now, this is where this gets interesting. Okay? This is where this gets interesting. The judge, so she gets sentenced, right? Her parents start contacting everybody they can contact, Congress people, all of this, right? So they finally get this woman, that's in politics, and they start talking to different leaders of different organizations, women that are the heads of sororities and different organizations for women. So they apparently this was a whole thing. I didn't know anything about it back then. Why would I? But they fought to get this young lady out of prison, right? So she ended up getting released in 2000 through clemency. I think Bill Clinton gave her clemency, but she was one of many that got clemency, right? But what's really interesting to me about this, right? I had never seen, I knew a lot of people that got hemmed up because of the 94 crime bill, right? But I never seen an instance like this where she definitely didn't deserve that type of time, right? Now, keep in mind, there's a lot of people that got a lot of time because of the 94 crime bill. A lot of people, right? Everybody in this day and age, all of the political scientists, all of the social scientists, all of these individuals have said the same thing, that the 94 crime bill was a mistake. Now, the interesting thing about it is in the movie, they actually discuss that. They actually talk about the mandatory minimums. They talk about the amount of time you get for cooked up cocaine as opposed to powdered cocaine. They talk about the racial disparities, how, it seems like it's targeting black people. They talk about all of these things, right? They talk about all of these things. Now, the reason why this is really interesting to me, especially considering that this movie is out right now during this election year, because it has a lot of different implications. It has a lot of different implications, right? Because if you notice, I'm asking a question. And the question that I'm asking is, why are black people so dedicated to the Democratic Party that even when something like this happens, they still support the Democratic Party? They still support it. Now, here you have a young black girl that comes from a good family. Like I said, father, CFO of a company, mother, a school teacher, and you could tell this is not a chick that was a criminal. This is not a chick that was, a trap queen. This is just a young girl that was sheltered and fell in love with the wrong dude. And the dude was basically a scumbag. I mean, he was beating her, all types of wild stuff, right? So this woman definitely did not deserve to get sentenced to 24 years in prison. And in addition to that, she shouldn't have had to get clemency from Bill Clinton to get her time reduced. She should have never got that amount of time in the first place, right? She only got that amount of time because of the 94 crime bill, because the 94 crime bill fixed it so that judges could not use their discretion to be like, oh, you know what? This situation is not what people think it is. I'm not going to give you all of this time. Their hands were tied, right? Now, to everybody in here that's been paying attention, right? To everybody in here that's been paying attention, who drafted the 94 crime bill? Who drafted the 1994 crime bill? Joe Biden. Good old Sleepy Joe. Good old Sleepy Joe, right? So Sleepy Joe drafted the 94 crime bill. Bill Clinton signed it into law. So in my personal opinion, the fact that Bill Clinton gave her clemency, in my personal opinion, don't mean shit. Because she would have never been in prison in the first place had he not signed that horrible crime bill into law, right? Does anybody disagree with that? Had he not signed that horrible crime, does anybody disagree with that? Had he not signed that horrible crime bill into law, those individuals wouldn't have needed clemency. Right? Now, here's the interesting thing. I don't know. She had a friend that was in prison with her, right? She had a friend that was in prison with her. And someone came to her and wanted to put her story out there in an article, right? And so everybody, all of the women in the prison were reading the article. And a lot of the women were saying, look, your story is my story. So a lot of them were in there with ridiculous, football numbers, right? So there was one girl in there that was real close to her, friends with her. When she got released, the girl gave her like this cross necklace, right? And Kimba told her, she said, I'm going to give this back to you on the outside. Because Kimba actually went on to fight for criminal justice reform and all of those different things, right? But her friend, you feel me? Her friend never got released. Her friend is still in prison right now. In fact, let's see. Kimba Smith. Let's see if I can find a photo of her and her friend. Let's see. Here it is right here. So this is her friend. She actually took a photo with her after she got out of prison. I guess she went to go visit her or whatever, right? I think this is the friend, right? I could be wrong, but I think this is the friend. I could be wrong, but this is one of her friends. You feel what I'm saying? But I don't know if this is the same friend. But she has the friend that gave her the necklace, the friend that was close to her. She's still in prison right now because she got sentenced to two life terms plus 50 years. She got 2 life terms plus 50 years, right? Now, I'm going to keep it 100 with you. And I say this knowing that most black people ain't really going to pay attention to this, right? Let me pull this up. I need everybody to understand something. These two individuals, just two people, these two individuals are responsible for locking up more black people than most people in the judicial system. Collectively. Joe Biden is known for the 94 crime bill. Kamala Harris is known for locking up black people. So what I'm trying my best to figure out is how is it you support these two individuals that collectively are responsible for locking up countless black people, many of which getting sentences that they didn't even deserve, some of which were completely innocent, but you think this man is racist and he's not responsible for locking anybody up. In fact, he's responsible for letting people out that actually got locked up because of these two. See, the funny thing is, the other day when I was on that show, somebody put in the super chat on that show, they said, forget you, angry man, all your Donald Trump lies. What Donald Trump lies? That's why y'all don't come over here to debate me about politics, because there's too many stories like this. And I'm going to say it again. These two individuals are responsible for destroying black lives through the judicial system. This man right here has actually gotten people out of jail that were nonviolent offenders or innocent individuals. But you believe he's racist and they're not. How does that make sense? How does that make sense? That woman made a career of locking up black men. This dude is known for a crime bill that decimated the black community. People talk about, oh, the crack era. Let me tell you something. That 94 crime bill did more damage to the black community than the crack era ever did. Because many of the people that fell under those mandatory minimums were nonviolent offenders. There are plenty of felony charges that do not involve violence, drug dealing, or any of that. Now, guess what? Here's where the bombshell comes in. Here's where the bombshell comes in. After Kimba Smith went through all of that, ended up serving 6 years in prison because of the 94 crime bill. Do you think she's a Republican or a Democrat? Ricky Tan said Dem. Now look, I don't know. I don't know if she's a Democrat or not, but I do know this. When I go to her Instagram page and I scroll down, who's she sitting up there with? Look like Democrats to me. Look like Democrats to me. Is that the Juneteenth celebration? And oh my Lord, when are black people gonna learn, y'all? This says, I'm with her. Let's write the next greatest chapter. We the people, be the change, do something. Harris Walls 2024. She literally got sentenced wrongfully to 24 and a half years. And she is still supporting the party that did it to her. Kamala Harris was Joe Biden's VP. Joe Biden drafted the 94 crime bill that locked her up. The level of cognitive dissonance that black people suffer from needs to be studied. It is staggering. It is staggering. This is lunacy. I'm with her. Let's write the next greatest chapter. Ma'am, you were wrongfully convicted of 24 and a half years. You and your family fought to get out of prison. You're now an advocate for criminal reform, criminal justice reform. Do you know how many brothers have been wrongfully convicted because of this woman? This brother's in prison right now because of her, and they didn't do anything. What is wrong with black people? What is wrong with black people? Now you got this going on. You got this going on. Meanwhile, let me see if I saved it. I think I might have saved it.
You ain't vote for Trump. I love Trump.
You got him this shit.
He's his truth. Are you crazy? I'm gonna give it to you in this sense, right? Besides him being from New York, being a New Yorker, understanding another New York nigga's mentality, right? One. Besides that, he let niggas out of jail. I know 5 niggas that my man Law, shout out my nigga Law. He has 7 years left. 7. He in a box. He in a box. He say he in a box. His counselor, they bring his counselor, and their counselor like say, yo, you going home without him. He like, yo, stop playing with me. Stop playing with me. You like, nah, you go home now, we process your fake Trump. And I know many other niggas, he let niggas out of jail. These niggas letting in, got niggas in jail for 3 strike laws.
You go, yeah. You do the,
Both of them, 3 strike laws, they hung their head on.
Yeah.
Niggas that put niggas in jail for life. Niggas.
Yeah.
Period.
And guess why Nori don't like Trump? Because Trump went to Puerto Rico and threw paper towels at the people. Shut up. And I love when that happens. I love when Negroes are doing interviews and they just automatically think everybody gonna hate Trump and they say, yo, you ain't voting for Trump, are you? Murder Mook said, I love Trump. So I know at least 5 niggas that got to come home. He said my man was in a box. He had 7 more years. His counsel come to him, hey, yo, you going home in an hour. Stop playing with me. Nah, you going home in an hour. I don't care who you are. Any grown man that's in prison, you've accepted the fact that you in there for a certain amount of time. You got 7 more years. 7. And somebody come tell you you going home? What president you know did anything like that? All you Negroes that love to come over here talking about, oh, you like Trump, you a sellout. What president do you know? That chick Kimber, if Donald Trump was president during that time, she would have never been in prison. What president you know? Donald Trump is the first president where you can genuinely say, yo, man, I know somebody that's wrongfully convicted and they in prison. Yo, maybe we can get a pardon from the president. He the first president where that is actually a possibility. Every other president before that, man, a presidential pardon, man, please get out of here. Ain't letting you niggas out. You did the crime, do the time. Even if you didn't do the crime. And like Murder Mook said, he said, you got most of these politicians, most of these dudes, they used to be prosecutors. They built their career on locking people up. Built their career on burying people, giving them life. And you know how insulting they are? This is how insulting they are. They so insulting that they'll say, oh, well, you got 3 consecutive life sentences. Like, bro, just say life. Hold on, because I came across another one. I came across a video, I think it was yesterday. All of these matter of fact, hold on, let me see if I can find the video. Let me see if I can find it. Here it go right here. Watch this.
Hello? Yes. Yes. They're all right here.
Hi.
They're all right there. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Good news. President Trump just commuted your dad's sentence.
Thank you so much, Yvonne. Thank you so
Their dad had 18 more years to serve. Probably because of that 94 crime bill. 18 more years to serve. I just showed you a black man that said he know at least 5 of his homies that was able to get out early because of Donald Trump. I'm showing you a white family whose father was able to get out early because of Donald Trump. But this man is a racist? How is he a racist if he's doing the same for everybody? How? How?
Whenever I had a Republican president, I made a lot of money.
That's true.
A lot of people say that. You know, whenever
A lot of people say that.
You know, I'm just gonna keep my opinions to myself. But anyway, if I'm voting for Trump, so what somebody's gonna do about it?
I don't think anybody. I mean, I'm gonna disagree with you.
Oh yeah, but I'm just talking about so what?
Yeah, does it make you feel weird that
No,
people?
so what?
Do people? Why is it people care about your opinion so much? Is that weird to you that people freak out about your opinion?
No, they believe I have a lot of followers, this and that, but this is my opinion. This is what I believe. Am I gonna say, yeah, man, let's go for cops killing niggas? No.
Right.
Okay, but if I like Donald Trump and I want to vote for him, I'm gonna do it. So what? What are you gonna do? Shoot me, beat me up?
No,
I don't
stop.
think so.
No, it's not.
But
I think that.
That's another thing, too. A lot of people don't even realize the friendship that him and Donald Trump had.
How has he been to you over the years?
I never had a bad moment with him.
You've never had a bad moment?
No. He's just some guy like us that became president. And you know, he was good to everybody when he was giving them free tickets and free hotel rooms. You know, he just became a president and I guess his politics changed or whatever it is. But I always remember him for being a good guy, paying me a lot of money. You know what I mean? Help giving my friends rooms and free food, you know, so I know the president who he was and I know that guy too. I like Donald Trump, you know? Donald Trump stood up for me when they talked bad about me.
Donald Trump stood up for Mike Tyson when everybody was talking crazy about him. Donald Trump stood up for Michael Jackson when everybody was calling Michael Jackson a pedo and all this old BS. But now all of a sudden, now all of a sudden we supposed to believe he racist. I'm sorry. I was around. I remember. Nobody hated him. We're not going to start hating him just because the left and the Democrats decided we supposed to flip a switch and now we supposed to believe the man is racist. Get out of here. And don't even come at me with that Central Park 5 BS, because I did the show on that and I showed you what it really was. Shout out to Detroit 313. He said, what's the last time when you heard or seen about Clinton, Obama, Lyndon B. Johnson, and Jimmy Carter pardon black people that were innocent? I don't remember it. I don't recall it. I don't recall it. I don't recall it. But now all of a sudden, we supposed to believe, oh yeah, Trump is this and Trump is that. Get out of here, man. Get out of here.
This is it. Watch this. This is bonkers. Go full screen. This is literally
Real
bonkers.
estate mogul and a television star. But does he really want to add President of the United States to his resume? A lot of people would like him to. Please let's find out, and please welcome my friend, Donald Trump.
My friend.
My friend, watch this. Just watch this. This is nuts. We're in an alternative universe. Okay? Because this is not that long ago.
Go standing O.
Bro, watch this. Just watch how this goes. Watch this. So she's a Republican. That's easy.
Yeah.
But everybody else.
Joy
hugs.
can't wait to get a hug in.
Yeah, everyone's hugging. Look at this. Look at this. Kisses, hugs, kisses to Whoopi. Everybody hugs and kisses. Even Joy Behar.
Y'all see this? Do y'all see this? You got Joy Behar hugging and kissing Trump. You got Whoopi hugging and kissing Trump. Like, do y'all see this? But we crazy. I could keep going. I could show you videos of Oprah interviewing him, talking all nice to him, hugged up with him. I could go on forever. See, some of you young people don't know. Some of you younger folks don't know. Because your whole world is social media and whatever's out right now. You don't remember these TV shows back in the day. You don't remember how everybody loved Donald Trump. You don't remember.
Hey, Method Man, this is Donald Trump, and I'm in Palm Beach, and we're all waiting for your album. Let's get going, man. Everybody's waiting for this album.
End of message.
I saw Method Man on the Verses with him and Redman, and he pretended that Donald Trump was calling him, and he hung up the phone. I ain't trying to hear that shit. Oh, so now you hate Donald Trump, Meth? Well, why you put him on your second album? Why you put him on your second album? Why in Incarcerated Scarfaces, Raekwon said, guess who's the black Trump? Dough be flowing by the hours, woo. How many times out of all of the white businessmen in the 80s and the 90s, us black street kids, you know who the goal was when it came to business? Trump. I can't name how many times I've heard Trump's name referenced in a rap album. So if you go here, right? So nowadays they try to say, "Oh, Trump never received no award from the NAACP. Trump never received no award from the NAACP." That's the narrative now, right? That's the narrative now, right? What's that around his neck? Why is he right there standing right next to Rosa Parks and Muhammad Ali? Why is that right there? Why is that right there? What's going on? It is amazing to me how they love to try to erase history. They love to try to erase history, right? What's that right there? That looks like Donald Trump, Al Sharpton, and Don King. I tell you what, for Donald Trump to be this racist guy that everybody wants you to believe he is, he sure does spend a lot of time around Negroes. Yeah, look at Don King. I mean, look at Al Sharpton. He really looks like he can't stand Donald Trump, right? He really looks like look, the rise of Donald Trump divides black celebrities he calls his friends. Not long ago, Donald Trump and Russell Simmons were close, right? Wasn't until this man started running for office that all of a sudden he becomes a racist, right? Let me ask this. Let me ask this question. Let me ask this question. I just want to ask this question real quick, right? What racist white man do you know?
America great again.
Chef G, Sleepy Hollow, Sada Baby, Iceberg Bezo, and Peasy. They're the names of rap artists helping shape new popular sounds within hip hop.
Trump gonna shout the wins for all of us.
This is what I want you to do. This is what I challenge anybody to do. I challenge anybody to go find pictures of David Duke with numerous black people across the decades. As crude as Trump is, as brutally honest as Trump is, as much as Trump says what's on his mind, even when it's to his detriment, do you really think he could have lived his life this long without having numerous incidents of blatant racism? Oh, I forgot. That's Joe Biden. Joe Biden has plenty of racist moments. In fact, I remember David Duke saying that he endorses Donald Trump, and Donald Trump said flat out, I don't want his endorsement. Said, I don't want his endorsement. But like I said, we're supposed to believe that he, and by the way, it didn't get a lot of news, but do y'all remember when I was showing you videos of the Democratic National Convention? Do you remember the look on Jesse Jackson's face when they was talking trash about Donald Trump? Do y'all remember the look on his face? Back in 2019, AP had a news article. AP interview, Jesse Jackson slams dangerous Trump rhetoric, right? Right? Reverend Jesse Jackson has condemned recent outbursts by President Donald Trump targeting lawmakers, right? But guess what? Jesse Jackson said something recently. I'm going to see if I can find it. Because, you know, certain stories they love to bury. Certain stories they love to bury. I can't remember where I saw it at, but after the Democratic National Convention, I heard that Jesse Jackson had some issues. You know, maybe I should have saved that story or whatever, right? But I think a lot of people are finally fed up. I think a lot of people are finally fed up with the narrative. I think a lot of people are sick of it. I think a lot of people are sick of it. God only knows I'm sick of it. Yo, shout out to Jury, he said, for breaking down the presidential campaign. Appreciate you. Shout out to Steve H for being a sponsor. He said, appreciate the realness.
$50 boss up. Stack up and match up.
Appreciate that, bruh. Shout out to Zacchaeus. He said, Sam Kinison voice, say it, say it. I was actually watching that the other day. I was watching that Back to School the other day with Rodney Dangerfield. Yo, Sam Kinison always had me rolling. Say it! Look, he was warning. Look, if you go back and watch that movie, Back to School, Sam Kinison in that classroom, he was warning us about what's going on today. Like, literally. Shout out to Big Mike. He said Trump was all good just a week ago. Facts. Matter of fact, let me see if I can find that sound bite with Sam Kinison. No, I can't. Matter of fact, I can't even play it because it's not politically correct. You feel me? But he was going off. Like, he was going. Oh my God. I could imagine what he would be saying about what's going on today. I could only imagine, bruh. I could only imagine what he would be saying today, bruh. But yo, we've been on here long enough, man. I appreciate you guys for tuning into the show. The level of delulu going on with black folks is crazy because when I saw that movie last night, I was like, wow, they really put her through it. And then I immediately went to the internet because I wanted to see what her political leanings were. And when I went to the freaking internet and saw her pictured with Kamala, I was like, wow, you can't make this up. You can't make it up, bro. You can't make it up. It's crazy. It's crazy. But yo, like I said, man, make sure you guys go check out my book. It's available on Amazon. All you have to do is type The Angryman Standard in the search bar and it will come up. Also, if you want to check out the merchandise, all you have to do is go to shopBinoNation.com. Again, that is shopBinoNation.com. Salute to everybody that came through. I appreciate you guys for showing love. Shout out to my man Steve H for being a sponsor of the show. Shout out to everybody that hit the like button. I'll be back at you guys tomorrow, so be on the lookout for me. I'm going to holler at you guys later. Deuces.
Spartans! What is your profession?